Most people don't think twice about a dime. It's small, common, and easy to overlook. But the 1974 US dime, a coin you might still find sitting in an old coffee can or tucked away in a drawer, carries stories and surprises that most collectors never see coming. While the majority of these coins are worth exactly 10 cents, a few special varieties and mint errors have turned ordinary pocket change into genuine numismatic treasures. And if you know what to look for, that tiny coin in your collection could be worth far more than you think. To understand why, we need to go back to what the United States Mint was going through in the early 1970s. America had just gone through the end of the silver coin era. By 1965, silver had been removed from dimes and quarters due to skyrocketing metal prices. The mint replaced the precious metal with a copper-nickel clad composition, a copper core sandwiched between two layers of nickel. By 1974, that system had been in place for nearly a decade. Most people accepted the new clad coins without a thought. But behind the scenes, the mint was dealing with constant adjustments to technology, dyes, and materials, and those transitions often produced small, valuable mistakes. The 1974 Roosevelt dime itself is a simple, classic design. On the front is President Franklin D. Roosevelt, his portrait facing left, designed by John R. Sinek in 1946. The reverse shows a torch in the center, symbolizing liberty, flanked by an olive branch for peace and an oak branch for strength. It's a design that's endured for decades, familiar, clean, and timeless. Now, the 1974 dimes were minted at 3 locations: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. Philadelphia dimes carry no mint mark. Denver coins have a small D to the left of the torch. San Francisco coins carry an S and were struck primarily as proofs for collectors. In total, more than 1 billion 1974 dimes were made across all 3 mints, meaning that finding something rare takes a sharp eye and a little luck. But rarity doesn't always depend on how many were made. Sometimes, it's about what went wrong during the process. Let's begin with the proof coins. Proof dimes from San Francisco were struck on specially prepared dies, with multiple impressions to give them mirror-like surfaces and deep, frosted designs. These were never meant for circulation. They were sold in sets to collectors. Most 1974 S-proof dimes are common and worth just a few dollars. But when it comes to proof coins, perfection matters. In the highest grades, PR 70 Deep Cameo, certified by top-tier grading services like PeaceGS or NGC, these coins can bring impressive premiums. A perfect 1974 S-proof dime has sold for $400 to $600, sometimes more, depending on market demand. Even one grade lower, a PR 69 Deep Cameo, can bring $50 to $100, which is remarkable for a modern, non-silver coin. But what about the regular business strikes? The coins people actually used in their pockets. That's where things get interesting. During 1974, the mint was still perfecting the striking process for copper-nickel coins. The planchets, or coin blanks, often showed inconsistencies in thickness or bonding between the layers. Sometimes, the nickel coating failed to adhere properly, and the result was a missing clad layer error, where one side of the coin shows the reddish copper core instead of the usual silver tone. These two-tone dimes are extremely eye-catching and very collectible. Depending on the severity and condition, a 1974 dime missing one clad layer can be worth $150 to $400, with exceptional pieces reaching even higher. Other errors include off-center strikes, broad strikes, and double strikes. An off-center dime, where part of the design is missing because the blank was misaligned during minting, can range from $50 to $300, depending on how dramatic it is. Broad strikes, which occur when the collar that forms the rim fails, produce a stretched, flat coin. Those can also fetch $75 to $200. Double strikes, where the coin is hit twice by the die, are rare but valuable, sometimes bringing several $100s. There are also more subtle varieties that only appear under magnification. For instance, minor re-punched mint marks on 1974 D dimes, where the D appears doubled, have been found and documented by specialists. These varieties might only bring a modest premium, but to dedicated Roosevelt dime collectors, they're fascinating pieces of minting history. Condition, as always, is everything. A coin with scratches, nicks, or wear from circulation will rarely be worth more than face value, even if it has a small error. But a sharp, uncirculated example with full details, especially one that's been preserved in a mint set, has real potential. Collectors look for full torch lines on the reverse, which means the central flame and surrounding lines are sharply struck and uninterrupted. Coins with strong details like that often earn higher grades and better prices. Let's talk numbers. A typical 1974 dime in average circulated condition is worth 10 cents. An uncirculated one, fresh from a mint set or roll, might bring around $1 to $3. But if that same coin has an unusual error, a repunched mint mark, or flawless strike, the price can skyrocket. A 1974 D dime with a dramatic off-center strike sold for $275. A missing clad layer example from Philadelphia fetched $450. And a perfect proof from San Francisco once crossed the auction block for over $600. So how do you find one? Start by checking the obvious first. Look for the mint mark. P for none, D for Denver, S for San Francisco. If it's an S, it's almost certainly a proof coin. Examine it under good lighting. A true proof will have a mirror-like surface with frosted details, not a dull finish. If it looks especially sharp, it may be worth grading. Next, examine the edges. Is the reeded edge complete, or does it fade in certain spots? A broad strike or misaligned die may show uneven or missing reading. Check for color variations. A reddish or copper tone on one side could mean a missing clad layer. Look at Roosevelt's face. Is the strike clean, with visible hair detail and full separation between features? Those are all signs of a high-quality strike. And of course, if you suspect a major error, such as an off-center strike or double strike, never try to clean the coin. Cleaning can destroy its value instantly. Leave it as is and have it evaluated by a professional grading service or coin dealer. Now, you might be wondering, why do collectors even care about a clad dime for 1974? The answer is simple: history and continuity. By 1974, the Roosevelt dime had already been in production for nearly 30 years without any major design change. It represents stability in a changing time, a link between the post-war optimism of the 1940s and the turbulent economy of the 1970s. That's why the series still holds emotional weight for many collectors. People who grew up during that time remember using these exact coins every day, at payphones, in vending machines, at laundromats. Finding a 1974 dime today, especially one that's rare or unique, is like holding a little piece of American life from half a century ago. So what's the takeaway? If you have a collection of older change or mint sets, don't overlook the 1974 dimes. Check their condition, inspect the details, and look for the unexpected. Even if most turn out to be ordinary, that one special coin could be hiding right under your nose. In numismatics, knowledge and patience pay off. The 1974 dime proves that not all valuable coins are ancient or made of silver. Some are right there in the modern era, waiting to be recognized. So before you toss that dime into a parking meter or a donation jar, take one last glance. Check the mint mark, the edges, and the surface. You might be holding a coin that connects decades of minting history and carries far more worth than 10 cents ever should. Because in coin collecting, the thrill isn't just in the money, it's in the discovery.